Hello. Hello. This is a Pub in the Life, and we are currently having our afternoon walk. So, in today's podcast, thank you for all the support for yesterday's podcast about how the best strategy is always, sorry, the mic, is always getting out. And that came from a very practical tip, which is the only thing that you can do is literally get up and do something, even if it can be hard and it can be even disheartening at times. I'm sorry. This mic just is awful. Um, on the other angle, we promised we were going to deliver on something yesterday, that was what's the alternative? And the real deal about this is that some people call this the woman in the red dress. Some people call it the next shiny object. Some people call it the train. This is saying in Italian, the train that you shall not miss. There are lots of ways to be talking about this. I probably don't even have a name for that. I used to have a name because somebody in mom's past life had a name for it, which described the actual situation that mom went through whenever something went wrong in her life. And so imagine you get through an interesting project. You're very optimistic. Alex Hormozy would say uninformed optimism. And you would go, and you would find your way to it. And then for some reason, the project stops. You experience failure. You experience the fact of not being able to push it through. And this person said to mom, whenever one of those things happen, and this person, was in mom's life for like about a year or so not so much time anyways. And this person said, not even less than a year, probably 6 months, you use pacifiers. And what are pacifiers to you, to mom? Well, pacifiers to you are new ideas, new projects. So whenever something goes wrong, or whenever you feel that something is hard, you don't push through hard enough, maybe to solve it, or maybe it's unsolvable, who knows, and you just get through something else because you feel like that new opportunity is better, but you're doing yet again an exercise of uninformed optimism. And so next thing you know, you're using a pacifier. So you're using like a kid, like a child, and you put yourself a pacifier so you don't cry. It's the same type of mechanism. And I don't mean to say that everybody uses pacifiers in this way, because some people just are so much into an opportunity at that point in time that what they do, they then just are so optimistic about it that say, oh my God, like everything can happen. And so that everything can happen, I can just get through another opportunity and another one and another one. That is the same. It's still a pacifier to avoid the fact that you need to be focusing on not maybe just one single thing, but in general, that you need focus to be able to deliver on things. And that at some point, whatever idea you decide to pursue, there's going to be some point in which it's going to suck shit. And that is just the way it is. And so if we're starting to see and to think about pacifiers, you're going to look and you're going to recognize this tendency that it's actually very typical and nonetheless in every entrepreneur, because if you're entrepreneurial once, it's quite likely that you're going to be entrepreneurial twice or thrice, if this is even a word, or 4 times or 5 times or 6 times. It's actually normal. But if you don't have your priorities straight, this is gonna mess everything up, and it's not gonna be clear even on the outside. And Mom, had quite a problem with that for a while. So yeah, whenever you get yourself a new idea, imagine that you're using a pacifier and ask yourself, is it a pacifier? And just take the time to really see it from a different angle, from a more distant angle, from yet another angle, maybe in space, maybe in time. It doesn't really matter what is it, but it means a bit of a distance. And if seen with a distance still seems like a pacifier, still doesn't seem, like a pacifier, you would know there is something to it. And so you're going to try to peel the onion and see. But at some point, you're going to find yourself dealing with the same shit over and over and over, because there's going to be a point in which this is going to be problematic. And you're going to find yourself dealing with the problems related to the idea. And there is no way out of it. There is literally no way out. Everything has their problems. That is its own problems. It's normal. And so once you start peeling the onion, you're going to look at, is this pacifier worth enough? It might be. And so at that point, you might need to choose. But just remember that you'll never know until you push 100% through something if it's worth or not. And remember, if you're asking yourself, is it already 100%? If you're asking yourself that, it's probably not 100%. So it's quite a philosophical episode, but we wanted to talk about pacifiers for a while. And actually, this moment in which Mom's life is, turning a bit in the last couple of months, the tendency of pacifying herself is quite high. And you can use whatever pacifiers you want, but this is also useful if it's in the moments of enthusiasm where everything seems possible, that you're going to just do everything. Just remember, everybody has a certain amount of energy to them, and you still need to use it wisely. So don't pacify yourself. Ask yourself, maybe ask yourself, what's the alternative? But think about the fact that if you're 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 6 months into something, the alternative, you're not into that amount of time, you're going to be maybe flawed in judgment, won't you? So, yeah, stop pacifying yourself. So this is what was the podcast for today. You can still analyze, you can still try new shit, you can still try everything, but don't use them as a pacifier. You're gonna regret that sooner or later. You're gonna be counting dead bodies on the road. Another episode of A Pup In The Life. But you've already been there, so you should know, right? And if you don't, subscribe to the podcast, 5 stars, comments, emojis, insults, no, maybe, just in private. Kidding, they also do engagement. We're gonna be off for a while, but we try to record the podcast ASAP anyways, and sending you lots of kisses, hugs, not pacifiers, and a bit of bars. Bye!